Hello, welcome to Beth Roars, where we look at your favourite singers to find out what makes them them. Before we start, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. My handle is @BethRoars and I hold loads of votes on my Instagram, so you guys can vote on who I react to. Also, please do check out my website, bethroars.com, where you can book a singing lesson from me. And last but not least, please do head over to my Patreon, which is patreon.com/BethRoars, where you can get some more exclusive content, you can get early access to my podcast, and you can also find out a little bit more about my scholarship fund for aspiring artists. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll know I'm a bit of a trip-hop fan, and these guys are trip-hop classics. Yes, it is Beth Gibbons and Portishead. Who would have thought something so simple could be so iconic? In that chord progression and sound.
Oh, can't anybody see? We've got a war to fight. We never find a way.
Okay, straight away, one of her main influences is someone she's also sung with, Elizabeth Fraser, and you can hear that here in that light, very head voicey tone that she's using at this point. Everything is quite breathy, no vibrato. She's purposefully keeping it quite thin and it just floats above that trip-hop beat.
Regardless of what they say.
Ooh. Sorry, stopping straight away, but she's going right into that regardless of what they say to make that oozy, sibilant sound.
How can it feel this wrong? From this moment, how can it feel this wrong?
So what's interesting here, instead of feel and keeping it open, feel, she's going onto the L on the change of note instead of feel, which is a really just interesting thing that she does quite a lot, moving on to the consonant when the note changes.
Stone in the morning light, I feel no one can say. Frozen to myself, I got nobody on my side. Surely that ain't right.
Okay, there's a couple of things I want to talk about here. I love how she is using the rhythm here at this point, because in her earlier she was making really long, smooth lines in her phrasing to just make it sound light and ethereal, and then here she's going for that rhythm to kind of match with the drum beat. I also love, and I find it really interesting, how she uses her head voice and her chest voice. When she's in that lower register, it does have this kind of warmer, almost soulful sound to it. It feels, just warm. And then she goes up to this light, quivery, fragile head voice, which just gives you this dual element to her voice. It feels like two different emotions rather than a consistent tone that a lot of people aim for. She doesn't necessarily have throughout her range, yet it is something that is definitely an advantage in this style of singing. And like no vibrato.
Can't anybody see? We've got a war to fight. We've never found our way, regardless of what they say. How can it feel this wrong?
So her vibrato here is like super fast and quivery. It makes it feel so fragile, like it might break at any moment, like she's on the edge of crying. And then when she goes into that warm kind of stable place at the bottom of her voice, she does use mix a little bit towards the top there and then flips up into that really light kind of piercing thin head voice that just cuts through against all these synth sounds, against that drums. Oh, I love it actually.
From this moment, how can it feel this wrong?
I like the little yodel she did on Moment. I love the strings. I love the strings. So cinematic and lush, and I love cinematic music. I love movie music.
How can it feel this wrong? From this moment, how can it feel this wrong? Oh, can't anybody see?
Don't you feel like it just sounds like complete loneliness? It sounds like she's just there alone and she's almost crying, like the way that she's using her head voice there instead of can't anybody see, like a lot of people would sing it full and strong like that, but going really into that light place. Can't anybody see? It feels like it's almost just an extension of emotion rather than a sung phrase, and I think that's what makes it really beautiful.
We've got a war to fight. We've never found our way.
It's the things that aren't technically perfect in this that make
What
it
they
amazing.
say. How can it feel this wrong? From this moment, how can it feel this wrong?
Wow. This is the sort of music that I feel like is the perfect example of what vocal coaching is all about for me, certainly, in that it is so fragile. It isn't technically correct in terms of if you were singing opera or if you were singing R&B or if you were singing very specific genres. However, my idea of vocal coaching is that you should give people tools so that then they are free to express themselves. And this is healthy singing. There's nothing wrong with this singing. She's not doing anything that's bad for her voice. However, which is one of the main things that I want to make sure is okay with coaching. Yet, it is still emotionally connected. It breaks, it cracks, and I feel like that is what singing is about. I say it again and again, but I believe it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Down.